I've been wearing these minimalist grounding sandals for going on 4 years now. And today I'm going to share with you guys why I love these things so much and a few reasons why I don't. Now, these are the Earth Runner Circadian sandals. I had these for 3 years and I put them through their paces and really wore them out, almost wore them through. Now, about 6 months ago, I replaced them with a new pair. These are the Chronos sandal by Earth Runner, and it's basically the same sandal, just a little different outsole. This is actually a Huaraches, I think that's how you say it, Huaraches sandal design, which comes from indigenous footwear. They only weigh 5.3 ounces, and when I'm wearing them, I can hardly tell they're on my feet. It's the closest thing to being barefoot. I mean, you would think you're barefoot when you're wearing these, or I do. And being barefoot is great. Why do you think people love taking their shoes off after a long day? Why not just feel that way all day long? The outsole on my original pair is a Vibram rubber, which was fantastic. The outsole on my newer pair is actually a walk-based rubber, which I can't really tell much of a difference. They're both fantastic, although the walk-base is a little bit lighter. I think this is a 5.3 ounce sandal, while the Vibram is a 5.9 ounce sandal. I know a lot of you are probably thinking, Trip, that is not a lot of cushion. I need more than that when I'm walking. Well, you really don't. Our feet have muscles in them that are supposed to cushion things for us. And whenever we have a small amount of cushion, that allows our feet to send signals to our brain that say, don't walk like that, don't run like that, because if we continue to move in that fashion, then that will lead to an injury. Now, a lot of shoes these days, like this pair of my wife's shoes, these are on clouds. Now, they're super cushiony, like you're walking on a cloud. Well, when you're wearing these or running in these, your body doesn't know that, hey, I'm actually hurting. Do not run like that. And as you can tell, these being my wife's, she doesn't listen to me. On the footbeds, there's an Earth Grip moisture wicking canvas. I don't know how moisture wicking it is, but I do find that whenever they are wet, I still have decent traction in these things. But when they're dry, I mean, you have fantastic traction. I do all kind of activities in these. And it really doesn't even smell that bad. And I wear these all the time, sweat in them all the time. Actually, we're gonna sweat in them in just a little bit. One of the best things about these is the lacing system. Now, I have the performance laces, which are a little more stiff and rigid than their lifestyle laces, and I prefer these, and I'll let you know why. But the way the lacing system works, it wraps around your foot in a very comfortable way. I mean, it's fantastic. You can just move and do things with these laces that you wouldn't think you could. And you definitely couldn't in, like, let's say a pair of flip-flops. This is like a pair of four-wheel drive flip-flops that will always stay on your feet no matter what you're doing, running, jumping, climbing, swimming, anything. They're gonna be there. One time I had an issue with these where this lace actually pulled out from between my toes, but Earth Runner has revisited the design and upgraded that where it doesn't happen anymore. But when it did happen, they just sent me another lace or another set of laces, and I put them on the sandal, and that's these here, and they work flawlessly. And they do have two different lace options to choose from. Now, the adventure laces like I have here, like I said, are a little more rigid and sturdy, and they may not be as comfortable. I don't know. I think they're wonderfully comfortable, but their lifestyle laces are a little more pliable, and they say they're a little more comfortable. Well, I like to go with these because, of course, well, I'm an adventure type person, but even more importantly is see how they retain their shape. Now, these can be a little bit tricky to get on. I don't want to say tricky, but they're not as easy as, let's say, a traditional flip-flop. But when you have the adventure laces, they'll keep their shape so you can really just slip your foot in it pretty easily. There is a little clip on the side to make these easily adjustable, and I find myself adjusting these occasionally because, like, when I work out or I'm running a lot or standing a lot or doing different things, my foot can swell sometimes. And so I may want a little more space in here or a little more of a snug fit if I'm, let's say, climbing or doing something really super active. But it's good to have that. It's really simple to do. Something else special about these, you notice the copper plug in the bottom? Well, that's not there just for show. It's actually for grounding. Now, what that is where you're essentially grounded to the earth, kind of like an electrical connection, because we are electrical beings. You know, our heart is pretty much an generator, right? It makes electrical signals that make our body work. Well, so being grounded to the earth is an important thing. And these laces actually have stainless steel stitching, which is connected to this copper plug on the bottom. So whenever you're standing on the ground, you are literally grounded with the earth. Grounding has many benefits that have been tested and proven by lots of different doctors and scientists and things like that. So it is a legit thing. It's something about the electrons in your body being able to transfer to the earth or something like that. I've heard the spiel many times, but it's so scientific. I just know that, okay, grounding is important. I need to try and do it. So here we go with the sandals. I've already talked about some of the health benefits, like running correctly and your feet being able to send signals to your brain and being grounded. But something else is the actual kind of toe portion. I don't want to call it a toe box because it's not a toe box, but there's not a strap going over your foot like you have in some sandals or in shoes. So it allows your toes to actually splay out, and you get the natural width of your feet that they're supposed to be. Because a lot of times in modern shoes, they have a really pointy toe box, and it's not good for your feet. One way to test that, you take the insole out of the shoe, a little dirty, and put it on the floor and step on it. And then if your toes kind of overlap or kind of fall out over the sides of that insole, your toe box is too small. And I've done that test, and it is pretty incredible. Some of the shoes that I used to wear that were really constricting my toe box and was not good for my feet. Where do you think bunions come from? I still want to talk to you guys about breaking them in, adjusting the fit, how people react to them in public, and some other pros and cons. But first, I want to show you just what you can do in these things. And you're in luck because it's time to go to the gym, and I'll really show you. Today's workout was some strength work followed by what you see here. 8 rounds for time of 8 dumbbell snatches at 50 pounds, 8 box jumps at 24 inches, and 8 push-ups. The move some may consider a challenge with earth runners would be the box jumps today. However, you can see the sandals are very secure on my feet. Push-ups, of course, are no problem either. Working with weights, some may say that my feet need protection, but just how protected are your feet with a thin layer of fabric over them that you'll find with most workout shoes? There are a few things I try to avoid in my earth runners, like rope climbs, double under jump ropes, and rowing, but it certainly can be done as I've done it on multiple occasions. My feet don't slide around in the footbed, and I feel very stable with pretty much all my movements, just as I would with traditional shoes. The sole is very flexible to move with my feet, but still substantial enough to run in, even over loose gravel, as I often do. If you've tried earth runners, I want to ask you to leave a comment about your experience, if you love them or even if you didn't. Sometimes I find more value in the comments of review videos than in the videos themselves, so please share your story and join in on some of the conversations below. I often finish up with some heavy farmer carries around the gym. This shows that not only can you be nimble in the earth runners, but you can also move some heavy weight around. My feet are super stable when I'm walking like this, as it's so close to walking barefoot. Where you can mess up here is walking with a super cushioned sole, and your foot can be more susceptible to flexing side to side, which we want to avoid, especially when loads are increased like in farmer walks. Walking like this strengthens my entire body, including the muscles in my feet, which are so important. I'm rounding the day off with some toe-to-bar core work. You might think my toes would be in jeopardy here, but I actually prefer doing them in my sandals versus traditional shoes. Working out like that, I'm not only trying to be aware of my foot health, but also my body, specifically my electrolytes, which brings us to Element, who I'm grateful to have sponsoring this video. Whether I'm sweating it out in the gym, or on an adventure, or taking the day off, Element is a daily habit for me, and not just because it tastes good, but it's also good for me. My diet is pretty clean, so I look to Element for that extra boost of 1,000 milligrams of sodium, and good sodium, not the junk and processed food that's bad for us. Also, 200 milligrams of potassium and 60 milligrams of magnesium. Keeping your electrolytes in check is a great way to fuel your workouts, kickstart your day, and reduce fatigue. Plus, it's a super smart thing to replace something unhealthy we may be paying for and drinking already. So head over to drinklmnt.com/TripSmith and you'll get a free sample packet with any drink mix order. Then pick your favorite flavor, order it again next month, and get another free sample packet. Now, I've recommended these shoes to basically everyone that I know because I love them so much. And most people have been pretty happy with them. The vast majority of them have actually. Now, these are a little damp. You can see how they look when they get wet. The canvas darkens a little bit. These are wet because I just got under the water hose to kind of clean off after my workout. I think one of the main reasons that some people don't find that these are their favorite shoes ever is because they don't take enough time to carefully adjust the laces when they first get them in the break-in period. Now, I actually just talked to a buddy of mine at the gym who bought some after seeing me wear them for years. He finally got some, and I was like, hey man, how are the shoes feeling? He said, mine feel good once I got them adjusted, except on my right foot between my toe where it goes between, I'm still, building up a callus there. It kind of wears there just a little bit. So no big deal. Now me, I guess maybe I got lucky. My first pair, I don't even think I had to adjust the laces because you can kind of slide it through, kind of make it larger in different places wherever you need it to fit better on your foot, but I didn't have to do that. Now with these, my second pair, I had to adjust these just a little bit, but not much. Didn't take me, but I don't know, a few minutes to get it right where I want it. And now I've never had to move them again. Just like I said, sometimes I will, adjust them, tighten or loosen depending on how swollen my foot is. Not because it's injured, just because of it could be temperature or how much time you're spending on your feet and things like that. So whenever you do get your first pair, take your time adjusting the laces and getting the fit just right. And they even have a little guide on their website to kind of help you do that. One thing that's interesting about wearing these is reactions people get. And when I wear these to the gym, or when I first start wearing them to the gym, or whenever new people come to the gym, they're like, Trip, what are you wearing? Are you really about to run in those? You're really about to do this in those and this in those? I'm like, yeah, absolutely. And I'm usually doing pretty good wearing these things. Not that these like make me Superman or anything, but I mean, Jesus wore these. Maximus and Gladiator wore these, and they were two pretty awesome dudes. People sometimes, they make fun of them. They may call them my Jerusalem Cruisers or my Nazareth 3000s or my Walk on Water 7s, or I got a few funny names written down. Jesus Creepers, Bethlehem 3000s, Rabbi Rockers, Soul Redeemers. There's all kind of funny names for these, but whatever. I think that's just part of the fun of wearing them. And the activities that you can do comfortably in these are just about limitless. Now, when it gets really cold, I don't wear these. Unfortunately, I live in South Alabama where it's warm most of the year, so I'm wearing these quite often. And I do things like swimming, running, hiking, everything in these things. I used to do like Murph, which you run a mile, then do some body weight exercises, then run another mile. It's a hero wad. And I would do that like once a week for a while. And I was doing it in these. And I'll go run a trail or I'll do something. And I'm running or rucking with a heavy rucksack on my back wearing these. And my feet don't get injured and things like that. But however, when I was wearing these and wearing them out and wearing them thin, because they are extremely thin in some areas now where I was mostly wearing them out, I would sometimes be able to feel little rocks and pebbles, but that's natural with any shoe. The more you wear them out, the more that you're going to feel whatever's underneath. But when I got the new ones, these are fantastic. When I'm running on gravel, like I do a lot at the gym, unfortunately, I don't ever feel, rock punctures or pokes and things to bruise the bottom of my feet. But with these, I was starting to get that, and that is actually what made me get new ones. Other than that issue, I would have kept wearing these and wearing these. That kind of brings us to how long will they last? Well, it depends on how much you wear them. Now, I wore these, 80% of the time in those 3 years that I was wearing shoes, which I think is a lot. And you can see exactly how they wear and stuff. It is amazing because you learn a lot about how you walk and your stride and things like that, which is interesting to me because I'm kind of a health and fitness nut. But I think these lasted just as long as a pair of tennis shoes would have lasted if I wore them as often. Now for some pros and cons that I haven't really hit on much yet. Some of the pros about these are it's basically like a bad to the bone flip-flop that will stay on whenever. So it's just as comfortable as a flip-flop, if not more comfortable. I've never been a flip-flop guy, but I love these. You can wear these anytime. And there's issues with wearing flip-flops that your feet are doing and your toes are doing with each step that you don't know. That is bad for how you're walking and bad for your toes and things like that, because you're trying to keep the flip-flops from coming off and things like that. I could go into the weeds there, but I'm not going to. But it's just like a flip-flop that stays on, all right? And I've been doing a lot of traveling lately, flying and things like that, and these are great for packing. Granted, I'm usually wearing these through the airport and things like that when I'm traveling, but of course they're super compact and easy to pack. A couple cons, if I had to pick some, would be sometimes your toe can kind of catch, or the toe of the shoe can kind of catch and kind of bend down. But I mean, that would happen in a regular shoe as well, you know, if your toe was in that position or your foot was in that position coming across the ground. But with these, it just kind of bends them down. I mean, it's not really a big deal. I did have an issue wearing these one time. I was on an electric skateboard going down the road, and I kind of came off my board and was like kind of running, and this kind of bent under, and you can actually see where it kind of wore through the canvas in a little spot. And I kind of caught my toe, and my toe bled a little bit. It wasn't anything bad, but you know, there's not great protection with these, but no less than any regular flip-flop, to be honest. Sometimes when I'm running, but very rarely, will I get a little pebble or something under my foot that is uncomfortable. But I would say 95% of the time that I'm running, I never have an issue. People are always like, oh my goodness, Trip, aren't you gonna get a rock under there or something? I'm like, no, you know, it never really happens. I don't know why, but I'm not running on like loose soil and sand and things like that. Mostly like gravel and trails that have kind of been worn out or worn down. And I just never have an issue. Well, not never have an issue, but I rarely have an issue. But overall, I have absolutely loved these sandals for the 3.5 years that I've worn them, and I'm sure I will keep wearing them for years and years and years because they're comfortable, they're super lightweight, they're healthy for my feet and my entire body. I just can't get enough of them. So if you consider buying yourself one, hey, I encourage you to use my coupon code TRIP10. You get 10% off, and I get a little kickback for that, help make videos and things like that. So I appreciate that, but give them a try, give them some time, and I think you will love them just as much as I do. Thanks for watching.